Welcome to the Restoration Psychology Podcast. In today's episode, Jason and Tyler talk about what family therapy is, Tyler's journey to becoming a marriage and family therapist, and when family therapy could be helpful for families. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and we hope you enjoy this episode.
To the weary, the hurting, and the hopeful, welcome to the Restoration Psychology Podcast, where you're invited to rest, heal, and restore. I'm Jason. With me today, I have one of our counselors here at Restoration, Tyler Martawibawa. Tyler, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so my name is Tyler Martawibawa. I am a licensed marriage and family therapist, and I've been doing this for about 6.5 years.
And we're going to talk today largely about marriage and family therapy. But before we get to diving into that, tell us first, why did you gravitate towards counseling as a profession in general?
Well, I think the first thought that comes to mind was that in high school I was not a great student, but the one class that I did well in was my AP psychology class because I was interested in it. Mm-hmm. It kept my attention in class, outside of class, and a part of that too was also I felt like I was kind of the person in my friend groups that was a good listener, and people would come to and talk about, their problems and, maybe issues they were having with other friends and things like that. And I was just kind of the person that everyone gravitated towards and talked to. And I was like, oh, I can make this into a profession and get paid for this. Like,
can make money off of this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, why not?
I'm good at this and I can make money off
it. Yeah. And it interested me. Right.
Yeah.
I think AP psychology or just psychology in general, was about just what made people tick, why people did what they did. And I know there's a lot of different aspects of psychology.
Yeah. Did you see, even then, as you were taking that AP psychology class, did you see yourself with your friend group begin to incorporate anything, or were you thinking about the things that you were learning in psychology class? When you think about those as you're interacting with your friends or your classmates?
Probably not as much with my friends or classmates. I think it was definitely more of an internal reflection, introspection kind of thing, of why am I doing this? How do I motivate myself to, study or do my homework? But also being at that point, 16, 17, I also was just whatever.
That makes sense. I had a flashback to when I was 16 or 17 and what I was thinking of. And so, but what interested you in marriage and family therapy? Why'd you go that route?
So I came here to the States, to Wheaton College for my undergrad. For context, I was born in Singapore. I grew up there for 7 years. I moved to Australia for 1.5 years, and then moved to Hong Kong for 5 years. And then back to Singapore, where I did my 8th grade year and then kind of finished out high school. Spent 2 years after high school serving in the military service in Singapore. That's required for all men over 18. And then after that, I came to Wheaton College for my undergrad and majored in psychology, did a minor in biblical and theological studies. And I was looking at counseling programs and trying to figure out, okay, where do I want to go? What do I want to study? How do I even become a counselor or a therapist? Because mental health was not a big thing in Singapore. I think even now.
Talking about?
Yeah, talking about it or even just as a viable job.
Oh,
right?
Okay.
Of just we don't talk about our feelings in Asian culture, and I think in Singapore, and I know this is not uncommon across Asian countries. So trying to figure that out, and I learned that I think even before I started my undergrad, I learned that Wheaton College had a grad school, and they had a psychology program. They had not a psychology, but it's a PsyD. It's a doctorate in psychology.
Yeah.
They had a master's in clinical mental health counseling.
These are different tracks you could take. In their graduate.
So if I opted to choose the doctorate of psychology, then I could become a licensed psychologist. If I opted into the clinical mental health counseling program, I would have become a licensed professional counselor. And then they also had a marriage and family therapy program, and so that's the one that I chose. Then that has led me to become a licensed marriage and family therapist.
Okay.
So I chose that program for two reasons primarily. The first was because it had less credit requirements than the clinical mental health counseling program.
Yeah.
So that one had 60 at the time, and the marriage and family therapy program only required 48. So I was like, oh, I could shave off 12 credit.
Get through it a little faster.
Yeah, don't have to do school as much. At that time, I didn't think that I enjoyed school or I wasn't good at school. So I was like, why would I want to take more classes and more school?
Okay.
Turns out, after so many years, I actually do like learning. I wish I could go back and learn more. And so that was the first reason. The second reason is that I think given my cultural background, where I grew up, being Asian, there's a strong sense of the collectivistic culture and value in me. And so I tend to look at a lot of things through a very systemic lens and perspective, right? I see things not as an individual in a vacuum.
Just naturally kind of being conditioned from growing up in that culture.
Right. So if someone does this, it's not just because, I don't know, it's because of just who they are, but because maybe something happened to them, someone taught them this, they learned this from somewhere, right? So there's all these connections that I like to see and that interest me, right? And so kind of going into the field of marriage and family therapy made a lot of sense, and it was a good fit.
Yeah. You and I were talking before this, and you were telling me that marriage counseling in some programs is beginning to be called couples counseling or couples therapy. Lots of our people listening probably have some grid for marriage counseling or couples counseling. But that family, marriage and family therapy, tell us a little bit, what is family therapy?
Yeah, so family therapy would be like couples therapy, but with the whole family, right? So if you imagine couples marriage counseling as, two people coming in to work through their relationship, through communication, feeling heard, conflict resolution, figuring out how to do things together, enjoy each other, not fight as much, all these things. And you kind of take those same goals and purpose and desires, and you kind of apply it to a whole family now, right? So you got parents, you have the marital subsystem even within parents, and then you kind of throw in the kids with that, right? And so you have parent-child relationships, you have sibling relationships, you have maybe both parents and one kid, or one parent and one kid and the other parent with another, right? So it's all these different relationships and dynamics kind of come into play as a family of how as a family do we communicate better, express our emotions better, get our needs met, figure out how to, do conflict resolution well. A lot of families come in, it's how do we just like each other, enjoy, and again, for a lot of families, it's not that, I would say for a lot of families, 80% of the time, things are great, right? But it's the 20% that feel disproportionately really bad, or we get so escalated and our conflicts become shouting matches and stuff is getting thrown. And how do we kind of manage that? Because that feels so incongruent with the other 80%, right? They're we don't get it. The other 80% of the time, we're actually, we love spending time together. We enjoy each other's company. We do so many things together. We love each other so much. And then the other 20%, it's we're at each other's throats. Yeah, exactly, right? And so I think that's where they come in. It's okay, how do we kind of do this better? Yeah.
I could picture a family sitting out there wondering, should we do couples, or parents, wondering, should we do couples counseling or should we do family counseling? When might a family consider opting for family therapy instead of, say, individual counseling or even couples counseling?
Yeah. So I think it's different purposes and different goals in individual, in couples, and in family therapy, right? So I would not say that they're exclusive of one another. Okay. I think at Restoration, what we do really well is that we have a lot of different providers here that can do a lot of different kinds of work. So, for example, Dr. Pei could see a couple, right? And I would see the husband, and Stacy could see the wife, which has happened and happens quite a bit, right? And so we can provide this kind of one-stop shop for these, all this support. When it comes to why would I want family therapy, or when do I need family therapy? How I differentiate it and explain it to individuals, couples, and families is through basketball. So individual therapy is I would compare that to individual practice, right? So if you go to the gym and you work one-on-one with let's say a shooting coach or a skills coach, and you're kind of working on your own stuff, right? How to dribble, how to shoot.
So I'm working on my own skills.
Yes, your own skills, your own things. And then family therapy or couples therapy is when you kind of bring that to team practice, right?
Okay.
Where so like it's not exclusive. You, to a degree, like if you want to be a better player and a better team player, you want to be doing both at the same time.
Yeah.
So you come
That's
to team
good.
practice.
I like that.
Yeah. And this is where you get to like practice the plays, right? You actually get to practice team chemistry and how you guys like work together, right? Like, and then you can actually pass to somebody and run a play together, things that you can't do on your own. In team practice, though, the coach is not going to spend 20 minutes with one person practicing how to pass the ball or shoot the ball or dribble, right? The expectation and the hope is that as an individual player, you're doing that on the side, on your own time, developing those skills so that when you come together as a team, you're better for it, right? And then you also can kind of make the team better because of it. And you can kind of contribute and, like pull your own weight and, be a part of that. And the better you are, the better, like team player you can be, a teammate you can be. And so that's kind of where I'm like, okay, like, so if you want to, like, why would you pick family therapy? It's okay. Like we need to work better as a team. Right. And maybe there are some things individually you still like, each person still needs to work on. Yeah. Right. Okay. Like you're getting really upset or you're really anxious when one teammate or like, your one family member does this. Yeah. Okay. Like we can spend some time in family therapy, kind of like calling that out, naming those things, kind of like bringing those to light. And as an individual, how are you learning to kind of regulate and manage these things on your own? Yeah.
That's a really helpful picture.
Good.
Really helpful picture. Yeah. What do you specifically enjoy about couples therapy or family therapy? Like what do you specifically enjoy about doing those things?
I think it's, if I were to think about being like a skills trainer versus like a coach, I think I like having multiple people in the room. Yeah. Right. It's more, for me, it's more fun. There's always stuff to work through. I think it feels more rewarding and fulfilling when people can feel heard by another, right? That's like not just me in the room. To actually create lasting change when they go home, right? I think a part of the challenge, and this is, not to poo-poo individual counseling, but I think a part of the challenge is like, at times in individual counseling, because I still do that, someone might come in and have a hard interaction or conflict with like someone else, right? And there's a limit to like what we can do and what we can control, because a part of it is like, hey, I only have one person in the room. We can kind of talk about what you're responsible for, what you can do differently, and like you can do everything perfectly, like quote unquote perfectly. But if the other person is not willing or committed or aware of these things and also makes the same kind of effort, then nothing's really going to change, right? But when you have both of these people in the room or the whole family, right, now everyone's involved, right? Everyone's on the same page. Everyone's committed to willing to make that change together. And I think being able to kind of see that and coach them through that and kind of live that out with them is really fun.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay, bonus question here. Okay. In your opinion, who has the most fun here at Restoration Psychology? A lot of pressure.
I think it's me. I think I personally, and of course there's probably personal bias, but like I think I have the most fun because I have fun in my sessions with my clients. I work with individuals, with couples, with families, with kids. No day's a dull day. And it is, I really enjoy and love what I do. Right.
That's a good answer. I mean, how can I argue?
Right. You can't.
It's like, you just gave me like the bulletproof answer.
Yep. I just have fun. Yeah. Like I enjoy what I do. I have fun with what I do. I have fun with my clients.
Fantastic. Well, Tyler, thanks for hanging out with me today, talking about marriage and family therapy. Tyler and I are going to record an additional podcast episode on play therapy, which is another aspect of what Tyler does in his counseling. So y'all stay tuned for that. Thank you guys for joining us today on this podcast.
Thanks for listening to the Restoration Psychology Podcast. Please like, share, and subscribe. If you're seeking counseling or have any other questions, please contact us at restorationpsychology.com.